you talk with, did they give him our?
Now, I will say this, prior to surgery, he asked everybody in the operating room to do a sponsorship for the day. That's pending. He wanted to make sure I shared that.
4,100.
So I'm doing that.
Yes.
You know, sir, there are those of us in this club, Steve Hunt, and Austin Pierce, and Joe, and Donald, myself, you, that really need to be considerate of Richard's emotional status when he gets back and we first see him, because you figure he's gone through all this painful surgery just to be a foot taller. And I just, I got my dollar out.
All right, good deal. Okay, a couple items. First of all, if you need house painting, if you're interested in having your house painted, this gentleman right here is an authority. So keep it in mind, he's farming out painting, so he's doing well. All right, this is serious too. All right, we have a new Rotarian. And Joe is our newest Rotarian, Joe. And it's a procedure here I have to go through, so I just bear with me. As you know, your sponsor is Rick Van Dam. Okay. Now, he's responsible for you for 1 year. Okay. Now, this is how it works. I ask you a question or whatever, and you miss it. Okay.
You might just
Reach
miss
over,
it.
You turn over and say, "Pay my fine." Okay, that's how it works.
You're assuming he's going to miss it now.
I got two
Sounds like it's predestined.
Yeah,
All right.
Presbyterian.
I have two questions. You have to get through both of them. Okay, our Rotary Club, when was it formed?
I think Rick told me 2001.
Oh, it's great. Great. You remember, answer that. Now, here's the other one. Tell me our charter members.
And the ones you don't know.
Are you going to ask?
Can I pass? No,
Yes, all right.
I have no
Phone a
idea.
friend. Phone a friend.
All right, yes. Okay, good deal. All right, that's how it works. Just pay my fine. Rick, did that go okay?
That went fine.
All right, good.
How many charter members are there?
Hey, Rick,
What's the answer?
what's the date of our charter, the year of our charter?
November
November
1 or, I think, 1 or 10.
15th, one.
It was in November.
Is it 2000 though?
No, it was 2000.
It was 2000.
It was.
So here's a buck,
was.
we'll go in with your buck.
Oh, good, here we go.
You're right, it was 2000.
Okay, well, we'll have to ante up on that. All right, I'll cover it.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Good deal. All right.
He'll get me back.
Yeah, you're a marked man now.
That'll cost me too.
It'll be difficult, it really will. Okay, we have a member that has a birthday this month, end of the month, October 22nd. October 22nd. Anyone have any idea whomever the birthday is?
Whoever.
Yeah, whomever, excuse me, that's $1 for me to you, okay?
Whomsoever.
I'm the English.
All right,
It's Gabby.
yes, sir. Gabby? Wilson,
Yeah, man.
congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've staggered through another year almost.
Yeah, October 22nd. Is anything special happening on the 22nd?
Oh, yeah.
Not so much on the 22nd, but there's a whole bunch of people coming in the following week because it's my 60th. So the downside, well, it depends how people look at it. I will not be at the dance because I have a surprise party happening that I was not supposed to know about, but there's people flying in for it, so I will not be.
Gee whiz, that is fantastic.
They ought to hold it at the dance.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
yeah.
30 bucks a
Yeah. But other than that, no. My wife just had surgery, so she's going to be kind of out of it for a little while, so be quiet. Be quiet.
We wish you the best on the 22nd. No fines, you're excused.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right. One other item, food. And I'll come around and collect the food, Richard's food. So if you will, we'll keep that separate up here. And Rick, there's my $5, but I will take out change. I'll pay you some fines. Okay. All right.
So, thank you. All righty, so today is talk about Dance Day and a couple of other things. So it's going to be a busy morning. First of all, a confession from your president. I dropped the ball after the latest president's meeting and forgot to ask the club if we would donate $100 to the hunger walk that just happened over to aid the soup kitchen in the Newton area. So it's an opportunity for us to follow our proper procedure now, and so I'm going to let you know that I'm going to be asking the committee to review that request. It'll be $100. All the clubs in Catawba County have decided to support that, and I should have asked you all a while back, and I didn't. And reviewing my notes, I realized that I messed up on that. So I'm going to follow I guess it'll be our first.
And it will, but since you're on the committee,
That's right.
you need to recuse yourself.
That's right.
And you're the alternate, Gavin, is that correct? Or you're,
No, Gavin's on.
I'm on it.
who to put, Ron was the alternate.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ron, you'll be one of the 5, and Jenny, through email could probably
Right.
respond.
Yeah. So we'll email that around.
And Steve's on it.
That's correct.
Steve, Gavin, Jenny, you, and one other.
Are the committee to
Donald Hicks,
Evaluate requests.
Steve Hunt,
evaluate requests?
Yes. Donald? Okay, all right.
Jenny, and Gavin.
Okay. And for those of you who weren't here and who have forgotten the updates and all the summaries going out,
Yeah, sorry about that.
this committee of 5, the gang of 5, will review the request
Okay.
And bring it back.
and bring it back to the club to vote on next week. That is the process that we use. And if a member of the committee makes a request, that member has to recuse himself or herself, and Ron is the alternate, will sit in.
Okay, gotcha.
So this will come back to the club next week for full vote.
Second item to talk about that's been working in the background is the upcoming World Polio Day. And we had said that we wanted to be at the
Site.
site of the Miracle at Hickory. And I don't think we've discussed what we might do for that, but it's coming up soon.
I think Rick has some update on that.
Well, a little update, not a big one, because I talked to Cliff Moon yesterday about this very thing. In another committee that he and I both are on, Greenway Transportation, I mentioned to them about what we want to do in 2 years, in 2019, is to put a permanent marker on the site of the Miracle of Hickory. And Cliff said his Rotary Club wanted to help, and I said it'd be nice if we get all the Rotary clubs, that the sign would say Rotary Clubs of Catawba County, da-da-da, whatever, on the site. But if they don't want to help, that's fine, just put the ones that do. But that's 2 years away. We still need to talk to the city, and our conversations with the mayoral candidates, they're all for it, and it's just a matter of procedure to go through. But that's 2 years away. As far as this upcoming, which is next week, 24th, I don't know what any club is doing, if anything at all. He didn't mention to me.
I'll
Okay.
update that. Okay. We did discuss this at the President's Council last, and what's that little girl's name? Anyhow,
That's a funny name.
Catawba Valley. Anyhow,
She's a good girl.
Tuesday night at the Salt Center, there will be a presentation on stage of David Eller, no,
Jeff
Richard
Eller.
Eller. Richard Eller's film, Miracle, the review of the Miracle at Hickory. If you remember, he gave us excerpts from that. He's going to do the whole thing, co-narrating that, and their club is hosting that. That came up when we discussed the idea of putting a commemorative marker at the site. At that point in time, we advised them that we had not had a go-ahead from the city, and so we were on hold. But if there's any, and I had taken the liberty of asking Wayne if there was something we could make in the way of a cedar or permanent plaque to go between now and the time the designed memorial might go in. I would still like to see us stick something in the ground that, and the point came up, could we get the state to make one of those on this site in 1944, blah, blah, blah.
That would be the most appropriate state recognition.
Yeah, but I don't think we have enough time to affect that.
Not now, but you would when you finalize.
By
in 2
then,
years.
yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. But if we're going to do something, I need to be able to get it, because I had inkled the World Polio showcase that I'll take pictures of the night the other club does their thing.
But they're gonna do it at the salt block,
Yeah, they're going to do.
the auditorium there?
They have the whole auditorium tied up, and y'all should have been getting emails from them to make reservations, because it's not a ticketed event, but it is a reserve event. Because you haven't.
Nope.
I'll have to forward mine.
In your conversation with the other clubs, other than that film, is any other club doing anything next week?
Didn't sound like it. Didn't sound like it. They were the only one that had firm plans, and she had already spoken to Richard and gotten his commitment to be present along with Bob.
Bob, what's the date on Richard's program? The film?
24th.
The 24th.
24th, that Tuesday night.
Tuesday.
Okay.
So we are not doing anything on site that day?
We don't have any plan, but just,
Okay.
we can show up and walk the grounds and come back.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's nothing specific planned, but,
Okay.
anybody has an idea between now and then, just, does everybody know where the site is?
We don't all know.
Okay, well, that's good. Where the Army Reserve Center is, where the music factory is, I'm not sure that I could.
Above the old McGuffey's near the water treatment plant.
You know where the Glen Hilton
Yeah.
Park is? You know where Glen Hilton Park is? Ride the bike hill up the top of the hill, and you're
Yeah,
pretty
the armory
close.
over there, not the National Guard armory.
It's a reserve center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it at the armory or is it?
No, it's at
Court-
the music store.
Music
It was
center.
previously the,
Music.
It's that plot of land.
Yeah.
Right.
Where everything was. There's a little ballpark behind it now, and playground, all that kind of stuff. But that entire plot of land is where the hospital.
where the recreation center used to have their headquarters.
For anyone new to the Hickory area, it's very critical when you give directions that it involves what used to be somewhere.
Remember that church that used to be there?
What was the name of that original hospital?
The name?
Yes, I know it was a polio, but was there a name on it?
I don't think there was. And for a while, it was called the camp,
Yes.
the polio camp, and because it was all tents. And then they built, within 48 to 52 hours, they just built the building.
Somebody had mentioned it was the Richard Baker, but that's not right because that's where Fry is. That's the old Richard Baker.
But it wasn't, it was a children's camp of some kind, wasn't it? Or orphanage or something prior to
Yeah.
them creating the hospital, something like that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I think
Okay.
it had just been a summer camp, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
Were there nuns involved in this?
Nurses.
Nurses?
All right,
I don't think so.
No nuns?
so,
There was
Am I thinking wrong?
Sister Kenny was a nun that
No,
found.
she wasn't, no.
Wasn't she really?
No. Sister is a rank in the
Oh,
Australian military. She was Australian.
Oh.
And because she was in the military, and female,
Gotcha.
that was what they called her.
It's also, certainly in the UK, it's a rank within nursing.
Okay.
Nursing sister is
but you don't.
So now-
level in the hierarchy.
So the hospital lasted for how many years?
well,
Less than a year.
less than a year.
Less than a year and that was it? Up and down and,
Yep.
and all those people that were treated and recovered took less than a year?
They either recovered or they were moved to other facilities.
Charlotte, most of them moved
Other
to Charlotte
care.
after that. The funding dried up, and they had to move.
Less than a year?
Yeah.
But it was the epicenter of the discovery of what the transmission means was for polio. Because of this location and the habit of dumping soiled water into the river, they discovered that was how the bug was shared. became an important step in the
It
defeat
was,
of
it was
polio.
called the Hickory Emergency Infantile Paralysis Hospital,
Infantile paralysis.
and it was open for 9 months.
And amen.
If you haven't seen the film, it's a very well, I've only seen it in its earlier stages, but even then, before the final cuts, it is an excellent presentation.
I showed it to my Sunday school class. That was a Sunday school lesson. Over three Sundays, looked at the entire thing. And one of the guys on the video is a cousin of the guy who heads up our Sunday school class.
Oh,
And he's gonna try to get him in to come to talk to our class.
very good.
And there is a polio group that meets. You got the email, I think. They're from Cliff Moon. I don't know if anybody could attend the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to try to attend one of those meetings of some of the survivors.
Yeah.
They meet regularly on a monthly basis. And I don't know the intent of the meeting or why some of the Rotarians are involved, but I talked yesterday that I want to go talk. Because Jim and I know one of our Veterans Helping Veterans folks, the guy's wife has polio. She has a brace on her leg and everything to this day. And she got it in the early 50s after the camp had already gone.
Was she 3 years old when
She was 3, yeah.
had her first brace?
And she showed us a picture when she was 3 years old with the brace on her leg. Just smiling, pretty little girl. And she had a copy of the receipt that her daddy had to buy the brace. It was $5 for the brace at that time, 1952.
That was big money.
Yeah, it was back then.
And the brick building that now houses Hickory Music Factory was the original building of the hospital, erected in 54 hours, mostly by local citizens. It extended on the south and west with a lot of temporary structures, since they had more than 400 patients.
A lot of wood.
A lot of wood and
wood structure,
canvas,
yeah.
almost like a tent city.
Yeah.
So the building that's there now, you're saying that was the building they put up?
Yes.
I
Part
thought
of
it had been destroyed. No, they've actually.
I think it's still there. I think that's it.
That's a remnant. Yeah.
It was brick?
No. Well, the original site was wood.
That's what I thought, yeah.
The camp, yeah.
The
camp
original
that
hospital
took over,
they built,
but
yeah.
They built that brick building in 54 hours to
Okay.
become the hospital.
You sure?
For sure.
Okay.
So there's your controversial history lesson while we discuss whether or not the brick.
It's important, I think, that people of Hickory understand the impact that hospital had on this community and how patients were treated nationally. It changed a lot of people's minds on how to treat, because 97% success rate. You know, only 3% of the kids treated didn't make it. And that's a phenomenal percentage.
Back then.
Absolutely. All right, so moving on to the dance, I think, unless there's anything else, expect the dance stuff to take
If
the
I
rest of our
can
time.
inject, the club needs to decide on this. We had a gentleman that came in late. And Eduardo, we had a problem. We had the soup kitchen on Friday and he did not get the communications or something. He was not there. The club needs to decide if we fine him $5 or we let him slide over this. But there is a $5 fine for not showing up at the soup kitchen. So the club would need to decide if we do that or not.
It was listed in the bulletin, wasn't it?
Would you accept the
Yep.
buck?
All right, I'll accept one of them. Okay. But we
Discount.
need- Coming in late, we still need the five. I need, and also last 3 weeks ago, you were late after I left. You're covered. All right, that's it.
And so you can see one of our major fundraisers is our Sergeant at Arms.
He's kin to an elephant with his memory.
Okay, on to the dance. Austin, you have an opportunity for folks to sign up, I know.
Do the day, the evening before and the day of. Given Richard's situation, I'm sure he's going to need help at his house. I would say that's probably the easiest and the lowest priority. They'll be drinking beer and hanging out, watching the meat cook and
What,
get
the steam come
smell.
off the broiler.
I think it's probably the funnest piece of the food though, so if you can be there, I'm pretty sure Richard's still gonna do that, right? We're still doing it at his house. He would
Yes,
just be
he's committed.
attached to the scooter, I figured
Yeah.
so. So then Saturday's the real deal. So Saturday, we're gonna need 8 people at 8 o'clock to knock out some of the prep. We'll mostly be pulling that
That's at
pork.
Soup Kitchen.
That's at the soup kitchen, 8 o'clock. And I've got a sign-up sheet that's gonna go around. Saturday at 2 o'clock, I'm gonna need 6 people, and that'll include me, so I need 5, I guess, that will help me begin to heat everything up, begin to load everything on the van, all the chafers, just to make sure we don't forget anything at all. You know what I mean? That'll be a couple hours, so like 2 to 4, 2 to 5, and then we need 6 people at 9 o'clock. We're going to break down. We're going to serve from 7 to 9. So the breakdown can go really quick or it can go really slow. It just depends on how many people you have helping. And maybe some of those Rotoracks will be there, but I'd love to have commitment so that if it's 9 o'clock and they got to get home because they got to whatever the next day, church, whatever, that we do have some people there. So we'll just send it around the room, and if you can sign up, great. And we'll send it around again next week for people that aren't here to be able to sign up.
Austin, I think Steve's planning on the Rotoracks being in the soup kitchen at 3. So if you need to change that, you need to communicate to him if you'd rather have them at 2.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. Frankly, I had forgotten that he had said that.
Now, is that for this Saturday?
No, Saturday of the dance.
28. 28. Okay. Anything else, Austin, on that?
I still want people to sign up for that Saturday.
What about cleanup? We had said we needed a commitment for cleanup.
That's outside of
That's outside of the food. This is strictly that
Okay,
we'll need
food
you.
related,
Yep.
okay.
I'll send around a pen with it.
Need a crew of about 4 or 5 to clean up after the dance. All it is cleaning the tables,
Taking
all the
the
trash
trash out.
stuff, all the glassware has been returned to the bar area or to the
And that's when,
kitchen.
2 a.m.? No.
I hope not. I think the latest we've ever gotten out of there is 1 o'clock in the morning.
But that was when we had to deal with the stage.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we don't deal with the stage
But
at all.
cleanup will start at 11 or 11:30?
11:30.
Is that the last call for the band?
Yeah, it is. Usually 11:15, 11:20. I will say that it looks like there's 5 or 6 of our club members that will not be at the dance. So the people that are need to really consider kicking in an extra effort just to make it happen so 1 or 2 people don't get stuck with the burden of cleaning up at the end of the dance. So if you think you're going to have a problem, please let me know. If not, I'll expect everybody would just kick in and do what we need to do, which is what usually happens as a club.
Do we have a sign-up
With,
for the cleanup? Yeah, I'll sign up for cleanup. I'll have
Okay.
to.
all right, we'll have that next week as we get closer. Austin wanted to get the food and the prep out of the way. I will say, moving forward, John from Market on Main has offered the club, from going forward from this point, he will do the meal for $7 a person. And that includes setup, tear down. The only thing he needs is a little bit of help serving, so he doesn't have to incur labor expense. He would cook, present, set up,
We can
tear
serve.
down.
We can serve.
Oh, Rotaract.
Oh, Rotoracks, that's.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
So that keeps your food costing about $7, and that's a full meal, correct, John? Yeah. Yeah, that's the
Wow.
barbecue butt or the ham or whatever we want, and some side items, bread, and that includes tea and dessert.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, one thing I just remember,
That included, excuse me, 2 meats. Yeah, choice of one or the other.
Wow.
So maybe if we can, it may be a little bit too late for this one, maybe not. Do we want to consider this dance or just let this dance go as planned and work on the St. Patrick's with John, because it adds 21, roughly 21 to $2,300 to our budget, as opposed to $500 or $600 that it would cost to do this dance.
Austin,
Hang on.
have you got any idea when we do the food ourselves?
Yeah.
What we spend per plate?
Well, we've never been able to get it to an accuracy that I would like, and Richard has been frustrated with it too. Me and Donald were just talking about this. You know, we estimate around $5, because we have some of it donated, sometimes Rotary members want to buy it, sometimes, I mean, so there's always been a factor where it was really difficult. Plus, too, you know, John will tell you, if you say 100 people and 115 show up, well, if you're like John and you're doing 4 events, well, you can still do it for $7 because you absorb that 15. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing my wedding reception at John's, right? So we say 100 people, but until we get there and the band is served and by the time you factor all that in, the only person I've ever met that has kept that in line for us was Rob, because he's got like this software that counts out the ounces of everything, and you know what I mean? So we've estimated at $5, but again, there've been, every time there's a Rotary member that either buys a portion of it, we don't see the receipt, or I think $7 is a steal. I thought it was a steal before.
I don't know if you heard Bob's question while you guys were talking.
Sorry.
But no problem, no problem, because it relates.
Yeah.
The question was, do we want John to do it for this dance?
I would love that. I think that would be great.
He is more than willing to do that.
I think that would be wonderful, and I don't think that we're going to save any money, frankly, as far as time, labor. When you factor in all those things too, frankly, I've always thought that a professional needed to be doing it.
And I think with Richard's situation, it would make sense.
Yeah. Can we still go to his house and drink?
John, you can roll your cooker over there, right? You can roll your cooker over there.
Throw a couple of drugs or something on the grill.
Yeah, we could come to market.
We can drink it, mark it on Main.
He's got cushioned chairs out there.
We could have an after-hours
Yeah, with a
session.
bunch of drunks. Yeah,
That works for me.
I think it could be hugely beneficial to the club to relinquish that responsibility.
John says,
Hearing the suggestion and the food man's comments, what's the club's feeling on this?
It does add quite a bit to the budget.
Yeah.
That's right.
And do we have protocol for this? You know, I'm all for it, but do we have a protocol? You know, we just had a protocol as to how we divvy out money. Do we have a protocol as to how we choose and in the past, when we made a decision, it's not
I just think a
been...
discussion is good enough. This is not an issue, in my opinion, Donald, that we need to, okay, here's the thing, let's think about it a week and then vote. I mean, because we're getting to the point where we're 2 weeks away from the dance, and a decision has to be made. This sort of just dropped in our laps.
Well, we're going to spend money on the food either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
You know,
There's no need to take
You say
bids.
it adds a lot, but wouldn't it be probably to add about $600 maybe if we're talking about spending $5 doing it ourselves?
Versus 7.
We just add.
Do we actually
Well,
spend
I mean,
five?
again, it's like
An estimate of what it.
all the dances we've done, somebody's thrown 100
spent
here
$5
and
on the
100 there,
stand-up.
and it's hard to get
On the
a
stand out.
cost on per person because the club's always stepped up one way or another. I mean, if the club still wants to individually give towards the food, that's fine. It'll still reduce the bottom line. But I think it's $7 a piece if we don't even have to touch it except for the Rotaract serving, and John will teach them what a portion is.
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer.
you're only discussing a $2 premium, guys. If you got $5 base cost, you're only discussing a $2 premium. I think it's well worth it.
well, that's not my concern. My concern is that, okay, if we say yes, fine. If we say no, fine. What if we say no? Now here's the guy sitting here, and we just told him no.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
You're
we
right.
have to have a precedent so that we have a way of dealing when the person's present. In the past, when we were making a decision, the person that we made the decision about was never present.
That's fair enough.
Okay, so I'm saying we are stepping into an area where one day we may not be so favorable.
I'm gonna take you down to
But this isn't a
John's.
donation we're
I've been
talking
there,
about.
you know, I love it.
This is just
You
an
know, I don't have, that's not my
operating
issue. I'm
decision.
saying
And I
that-
understand it's a different type of discussion, but I understand where Donald's coming from as well.
Well, I mean, there's a sense of urgency here, and I think there should be protocol for that too. We're 2 weeks away from the dance, and Richard's laid out.
View Elementary.
This is not
There's a
something we
lot
can
of-
table for a week.
No, and there's a lot of folks that are not going to be at the dance. I know of 6 in our club that are not going to be there. So unless everybody wants to step up and spend Friday night, Saturday night, and into Sunday morning, making sure that it's done properly, then I think the discussion needs to happen today.
I just wanted to make a comment too. The food is a lot harder than everybody thinks every single year. Ask Rob Garrison. Even with all the help that he got, he still was frustrated at the end of it. And y'all have seen me. I mean, I fall to pieces. It's a lot. It's a long day and it's a hard day. And if you have, you know, if you have other things going on in your life, it's extremely hard to commit to, again, being at Richard's at 6 o'clock because you feel like you got to be there for at least an hour, and then showing up at 8, working 8 to noon, then coming back at 2, working 2 to 7, then coming back at 9. I'm telling you, it can wear on you. So that's why I think the savings of having that taken off, because we always seem to be frustrated with it. We've never really got it dialed in.
My issues has nothing to do with savings.
Yeah, I know what you're
Nothing to do
saying.
with cost.
I know what you're saying.
I'm saying one day we're gonna hurt somebody's feelings, and that's not proper.
Sure.
No,
You know?
that's noted, Donald, that's just it's common sense.
Yeah.
No point in signing
Then
up, right?
we have a policy for that.
We do have we have another small problem, and that is 2/3 of the dance committee's not here.
2, 3, 4,
Correct.
5, 6.
Richard's not here. Rob
Well, I mean,
not here.
but-
Only Bob.
Here's
We can make that decision
As a
using
club.
the email.
As a club.
You
no, we
know,
can make
Yeah,
I mean, we make a
but
decision.
in this, let me just
1, 2, 3.
throw
Get it
something.
done.
In this
Get it
particular
done.
instance, because of the expediency, and I'm not sensing anybody's totally against the idea, otherwise we all help.
1/4 of what we need in the labor is on this sheet, and that's it.
Well, we can get more
That's
labor,
my case. I
but
mean,
it may be a moot point.
around here yet.
Has it not?
It may be a moot point though. No point in signing up if we're gonna go outside to.
Well, that's true. I
I
don't
mean,
think.
that's why I didn't sign it.
In the interest of protocol, what Donald's talking about, in the future, we need to be very, very sensitive to that concept. But this is a different case, I think, because of the expediency and because it lightens up our load as individuals.
Let me
Ron?
just, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna go ahead and make a motion.
Well, I'm saying that
Market don't mean
it,
do the food for our dance.
hold on, an expediency, I'm saying the privacy of each individual's decision. Can't wait till we zip an email to everybody at the end of this meeting. I mean, we are really treading on dangerous ground. One day somebody's gonna sit there and we're not
John,
gonna like the
when do you need to
decision.
know?
I would do it
Anytime. I mean.
Can we let you know this afternoon?
Yes, can we let you, this afternoon be fine?
Okay.
You only talk, how many people are not here this morning? 5 or 6 of our active members? So depending on how we vote, and with the email.
You have a quorum here, it doesn't matter.
That's right, the email will go out and we'll.
Let me say something.
Go ahead.
Let me say something to the club.
It's never gonna be here. They're in the hospital.
There's only a
Yes,
few
but
people
they
in
can
this
answer
club that
an
really
email.
understand what it takes to put a dance together. I've been working on this dance for 12 months, okay? We find it very frustrating a week or 2 before the dance when there's not enough people to do the job. For those that start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and at 1 o'clock the next morning, they're still there. You barely go home, there's enough time to take a shower, put your clothes on, and come back for the dance. And that's how that day rolls. And that's been the frustration of the current dance committee. That's why we said a year ago that this was our last dance, because we wanted somebody else to experience all the hardships that happen the hard part's done. All we're doing now is selling tickets. It either works or it doesn't. So it's easy to sit there and say, we need to talk about this, we need to talk about that, but it normally never gets done. And there's 2 or 3 people that I'm getting in their ear and I'm saying, look, I don't have enough help, will you step up? And that's the way it normally happens. So we've never had a true cost on what it takes to put a dance together because club members have always thrown $100 or $200 or $300 at it. Richard's thrown as much as $500 or $600 at the food. So, and he's right. What if that stops? Then now we have a true cost. So again, Austin just sent the sheet around the room.
Well, it's unfair, it didn't make it to everybody.
Okay, and there's no, I can see it from here. There's no help on the,
There's
there's no help on
You said we had till next week.
I know.
Question.
I can't be at the venue and in Austin's kitchen the day of the dance. I'm worried about the band incoming. I'm worried about the stage being set up. Decorations.
All right,
So I'm out that day. So
here's what.
it doesn't matter to
If you
John.
send an
John just
email
wanted to
out,
see what a
you're
Rotary
going
Club
to get
was all
half the people
about.
going to respond. You ain't going to get a full response in time enough.
I didn't mean to put him on the spot. He's not on the spot. He says, look, it can go either way. He's got 30 parties between now and Halloween. So is he geared up to do it?
John,
Sure, he'll
this
do
is
it
no
every
reflection
way.
on you.
I know.
It's how our club is trying to,
you're 100%.
trying to nail everything down.
Yeah.
You know, and we're just moving the marker, the standard. And so I'm just trying to find out what's our standard.
Well, we're not moving the standard. We
Do
haven't
we have
established one for this, but we've never had something like this come to us.
We had a budget for
No,
what the
I'm
dance
talking about
all
money.
was gonna
I'm
be.
talking about money.
You know?
This is a different concept than somebody coming to us for fundraising. Totally different. And if in the future, we can listen, if a similar thing could happen, we can have a protocol. But to try to establish a protocol in the midst of a discussion, this particular one, and I'll go for, again, Donald, for expediency's sake, Phil can send an email out, I guarantee you half his club won't respond in time. No offense, fellas, but it's
Mr. President,
true.
we have a second to the motion.
We do not have a
All
second.
right, would you call, I second the motion.
I didn't hear the motion.
Motion was that Mark
We
on
accept.
me handle the food for the October 28th dance.
All right, I second the motion.
Okay, so now, even though we've been discussing the motion, we'll continue. The chair will not call the question
I would
yet.
like to say too, it seems like this meeting was supposed to be for business of the dance.
Yes.
I understand Donald's point, I
Right.
agree with it,
Right.
no question, but we're supposed to be handling business for the dance. And I think hiring someone to do the food within our budget for the dance is business for the dance, not something outside of that. That's,
Yeah, it seems to me Donald is absolutely right.
He is, there's
We
no
shouldn't have
question.
somebody, like
Sure.
John here in case we decide not to do it, however.
I think we should fire Bob.
However, having acknowledged that Donald is absolutely right, just judging by what everybody has said going around the room, including those who are most responsible for preparing everything, it seems like all of them are in favor of this. So what we're arguing about is theoretical. And even though it's correct, the fact is we are going to decide, it seems to me, because those that we're dependent upon to do most of the work are behind this, that we're going to use John. And therefore we might as well just acknowledge Donald's point as being totally correct, but also acknowledge the reality that this is how the vote's going to go. Does anybody agree with that?
I agree with what you're saying, totally.
Yeah.
But I agree. But I want you to do the food. I want to taste something different. I really do. Okay? I do. Okay? No offense, but, I want to taste something I can't cook. Okay? Seriously, I've had your food, okay? And it's good. Okay? I just want to taste something I can't cook. All right? And so, great. But we as a club need to note that we need to have a policy as to how we do things like this in the future. That's all I'm saying.
It's a fairly
Because
simple
one
You're
day somebody will sit over there, and it's a great idea, but I don't think it's always good to make haste when you're getting the sales pitch. Not that you gave us a sales pitch, okay? I'm just saying,
Somebody might.
every penny looks shiny when it's sitting right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Please, John, please don't be offended. It has nothing to do with you. Jack is sitting over there, okay? Bill is sitting over there. It doesn't matter. I'm saying we have to have a way of going forward, because if somebody in here said, well, I had John's food, okay, you offended, and now we as a club have offended you. You see what I'm saying? I mean, John.
I'm gonna get Bob later, don't worry.
Okay.
Very good.
We're beating a dead horse.
Thank you.
You're right.
Thank you.
Beating a dead
Carry on,
horse.
carry on. The horse is not
But
dead.
we will add that protocol for when somebody makes a request to assist the club in some form or fashion, we can discuss it in the future. But for this particular issue.
Next working session, we'll bring that up.
Yeah, we can, next work, yeah.
Call the
Let's do that.
question.
Okay,
All right,
All right.
good
all
with
right.
that.
I believe discussion has been beaten, the horse has been beaten. The chair is now ready to call the question. So, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
So the Humane Society is okay now, we won't beat that horse to death anymore.
Peter will be in
John,
here.
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for that.
I'll help
Okay.
him. We definitely did need Peter.
So what do we have besides filet mignon?
Lobster, that's a meat, right?
Lobster and filet.
Tickets and
Ribeye and play.
Say what?
Listen, if anybody wants to show up and help John, I'm sure he could take the help too. And his beer is great. It's cold, it's on
Let's put her
tap.
back in the service here. TNA Club. Okay,
Kind of called TNA here.
so now,
Listen, and maybe moving forward, if he sees that this goes as planned or a little better, maybe, I'm gonna put you on the spot, maybe the next dance would be a little cheaper. Maybe he says, you know what, I could do this for $6 a person. This was a little easier than I thought, so.
you just got a Saturday.
That pendulum swings both ways.
To be fair, Bob,
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll call you a little bit.
to be fair, that's still not fair to him.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. See, I put him on his block.
That's still, neither way is fair to you. Okay? So,
Next time I'll do haggis for people.
Moving on.
Whoa,
trust me, we
love
don't want
that
haggis.
goat belly.
I got tickets
So-
left, I've got 75.
That's what I wanted to hear about. What did we do?
Rick, where are we at with ticket sales? Do you have a clue?
Well, no, I have $420 here that I've sold,
Okay.
and the communication is not where I need it to be. And I said I was gonna come by your place, and I haven't done it
That's all I
yet.
have.
And I've got some tickets left myself. People who have come to me, I have recorded the tickets I've given to folks. It's not that many. But I have, in other words, I gave 2 to the radio station, I've sold 14. And I have that money here. And there are other, I don't know if Steve, Glenn and Steve turned any ticket money in?
Yes.
Okay. What I don't have is who turned it in, as long as you have who turned it in. I'm trying to keep track of where the tickets are. I still have a bunch, and the only people I know who have gotten tickets from me are me
And me.
and Steve Hunt.
Oh,
Who has outstanding tickets?
Okay,
I got 10 tickets that I'm gonna sell.
okay.
I've already got
Does Ken have 10?
6, but maybe 10. I'm just working on that right now.
Okay.
I have to admit, I've been a little lax in the,
Okay.
You don't,
but I plan on 10.
okay, I'll try to remember to email you, just in case you know what numbers there are.
Okay,
I'm trying to keep track of them by number as well, see where they're going.
okay.
So it's,
And Glenn, you said you have some?
I have 10 that are not paid, but I will pay them. It's I'm paying for that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
But I owe for the table.
All right, I just need to, I like to keep track of the
I have
numbers,
10 and
number
everything.
sequence and stuff.
Our, just off the hip, our guest singer, Johnny White, has been called to Hollywood on the date we're having to dance. They moved his audition up, or over or around, so he won't be with us that day, but I'd still like to have an opportunity to hear him sing someday. This kid's going for the stars, and this kid lives in our community, and I think we need to support him. So maybe we can find something else to do to help Johnny White.
Maybe Gavin can step up and sing.
Well, you know, I mean, he's got his band.
Yeah, I've got my band. I've got my band and I can't sing. So there's a match made in heaven there.
Okay.
Maybe he could come and do our program, show a video of his audition or something, and maybe sing one song for us at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, now listen, there's
So,
also,
is that
I do
your
want to say,
pen?
moving forward, I know I'm all over the board
Okay.
today. Moving forward, if we wanted to do smaller dances, like a jazz night or something like that, John has offered again, Walking on Main. And he's got enough seating in one room to do, what's the seating in that one room, 300? 250? 250. So we can do a smaller, like a jazz dance and dinner night, something.
An
We're
intimate,
having a little bit more
intimate.
trouble selling tickets this dance.
Well,
I wonder if we.
I was trying to ask you that because we started out kind of saying, oh, tickets are all sold. Like, I remember asking you months ago, is it even worth trying to sell the tickets? And the idea was, oh, no, they're all taken.
Based on the other dances,
Yeah.
that is correct.
And so I never sent out the email list.
Yeah, now there's a lot of dances. There's a big one at your place.
Yeah, there's a big one. I will
Big one
send
at
out
John's
the.
place.
I've still got some contacts I have not emailed because on the basis of that, I thought it's sold out. So we decided not to do that. So I'd better get on the spot and do that.
Yeah, if you don't mind, 'cause I've got 75, and I'm sure the week of the dance, I'm gonna sell probably at least half of these.
Yeah, that's usually the way.
But it's the first dance we've had that we haven't sold out.
I think the problem that I'm facing is when I go to Burke Sunrise or Valdez, there are competing events right now, and they said, let me call Bob if I need tickets. That's why I said the 0057 phone number should be getting some calls
Yeah, but
from those western clubs, but it's been competitive events.
It's over 100.
I have 36, Bob has 75. And still have 100 tickets to go.
Plus,
Plus whoever has them out.
correct.
Yeah, yeah.
So 100 tickets, that's, what, how, $3,000?
Yeah.
The few people I usually sell to are all coming to my birthday party. I mean, it's just.
Why don't we just move your birthday party to the dance?
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
That's to your house.
So
So-
maybe we need to, after the March dance, maybe if those sales are a little sluggish, maybe we beat that dead horse for, what, 5 years now? Maybe we do need to think about changing up a little bit and doing a dinner dance evening with a good headline jazz band that will make people say, oh, they're in Hickory. So
Yeah.
with that being said, we probably need to look into that a little bit, because
Well-
this has been a little bit disappointing at this point.
Well, Halloween, I think a lot of people, like you said, are having their own house parties and doing a lot of things. Maybe we shift it maybe more towards Christmas, have a dinner,
That'd be
headliner.
worse. That'd be worse. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. That's why we moved the Valentine dance.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
people do like the Halloween. I mean, people look forward to that, it seems to me. That
We,
you get to
yeah,
see
I mean,
people
we
come
haven't had
and
trouble in the
dance.
past with
No.
competing things, just this year maybe just
There's
more things
even
go
local
on.
bars
I
too
think
that
we've
are.
been complacent this year. I know I'm like not even saying that.
So food for thought, just moving forward, we'll look into that.
So, let's keep that in your mind. It's important to talk up the dance. Anybody you know that you haven't told about it, be sure and get that news out. The other thing is sponsorship / ads. You may remember we committed as a club at least $125 per member to get those ads in. So if you can't manage to twist an arm for somebody to take an ad, well, then you can.
Limber up your elbow.
That's right. That's right.
I've got 3 things I gotta
So keep that in mind.
What is the last date of the ads to get them in?
Okay, there's a,
Kenny did tell us what the last date was, and I don't remember. Does anybody remember?
What do you
the last
need,
date
Bob?
was?
3-4 days before the dance?
I'm sorry, ask again.
The last
To
time.
print the bulletins for the dance.
Yeah,
Kenny
Kenny
needed a deadline. Do
Yeah,
you
he
remember
did.
what it
3-4
was?
days out,
Okay.
yeah.
And we have that list of everybody that's Richard's contacted, so we don't duplicate that.
I've never
That's
gotten,
been sent out.
I've never gotten
Has been sent
a,
out.
All but 2 of Richard's have paid,
It's
and
been
he has a
sent.
check in hand
I'm
for
saying a
one,
copy of the,
calling a
no,
guy
I haven't
today,
even seen an
get his
email with a
information,
copy of the
receipt payments.
ad
All
layout.
of Richard's should be
sent
accounted
twice.
for.
Hasn't made it to Donna.
That'll be 100% collection.
Okay, who would it be from?
Ron sent it?
Ron.
Ron resent it.
And I can send out that list again with the update.
The sponsor has
Because he
paid,
hit half of the people I was gonna hit up, he already did it, so.
the sponsor has paid,
Plus, you don't know what's turning
his
down.
$3,000, and
Yes.
I got a little bit of a frown about moving forward. I mean, they have paid
Yeah.
$18,000 towards our dances, so that's a
Yep.
lot of money.
Over
But
the
I don't,
years.
over the years, that's correct. I don't know that we'll have a corporate sponsor for the St. Patrick's dance, but we have to move forward because we've already contracted with the band.
Oh, yeah.
And I have paid that down payment, by the way. I'm trying to get my words in edgewise. $500 deposit for Blackwater Rhythm and Blues has been paid. The check's cleared, so we are on
Right.
for that.
And I think we'll at
Contract
least
signed and
make a little bit of money off this dance. But unless things really turn in the last 10, 12 days, it'll be a minimal profit for the club, which we've never experienced either. We've always done $10,000 or better. So, but again, there's a lot to compete with this year, for whatever reason.
And a reminder, as much work as the dance is, it's a lot less than selling oranges, and the money's, even at this, will be more than we got selling oranges, so.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
So you had, Bob, you have a couple things?
We have the awards banner that goes along with our club banner. If he hasn't already, Jason should be contacting Phil about coming for a short visit to provide us 2 more. Distinguished Club, and I forgot the other one, guys. I'm sorry. We got 2 more district
awards.
recognitions to go onto that banner. Phil should be asked for that. I did indeed attend the district governor-elect inquisition. I failed, but to my credit, it was the longest after vote they ever had. They normally finish the voting, the committee normally votes within 10 or 15 minutes after everybody's been interviewed. It took them more than an hour to settle the issue. I don't know what it was, I don't know what the issue was, but the bottom line is there is to be a new district governor-elect in the next week or so, maybe probably at the Rotary Foundation banquet, they'll be identified. So, Rotaract is underway. I spoke with Katie Fisher, the Dean of Students here. Hooray, hooray, she says. And Dr. David, mine's gone, guys, begins with a P.
Peltzer.
Peltzer has spoken with the outreach chair here, and they say great, and it will at least be there can be as many as 3 clubs sponsoring a Rotaract group. We will be one of the groups sponsoring with the other clubs a Rotaract group here at LR. It's underway. Brick, where's the brick? The membership brick. I got to do this for Steve. Who's got the membership brick?
I think brought it a couple weeks ago.
Didn't Austin take it?
Austin has it.
Austin had it and brought a guest.
Yeah, but he kept it.
But he kept it last week.
Okay, now, in understanding of that, anybody from now on who has the brick and fails to follow the protocol for the brick will give the brick off, and they will be given a gold brick, which they have to carry for a month.
A gold?
A gold brick.
Oh.
So we will make that brick work one way or another.
Won't that be kind
But
of
the gold, huh?
Won't that be kind of expensive?
It could be.
If they're trying to mug you for the gold drink.
I'll take the gold brick, give it to me.
Anyhow, the gold brick is coming.
Get your backpack out here.
I know it's running out. Rick, maybe it ended up being 500. I don't know. Richard wasn't clear on what they would commit. So on your list of contributors, 500 is what BB&T
I'll
is
check,
actually
I think
paying.
that's what it was, but I'll
Okay,
check.
he wasn't sure that you had that amount.
Okay.
Okay. Secondly, invoices have gone out. Please check your emails. If you have questions or issues, I've made numerous deposits and sent around our accounts total. So you saw what we have in the bank as of this moment. I just wrote a check to Michael for last year's Rotarian of the Year, so minus $100. But this is what's in the bank, both accounts total. Okay, any questions about that, I'll take it. I got and I know we're gonna do a budget, but I just want everybody to know, a budget or a finance report meeting, but I did get the compilation and review back from the accountant. The letter's here. She's audited the books, and she's pleased to inform all credits, debits have been properly recorded with corroborating bank statements, properly labeled, substantiated receipts, deposit items, etc., provided upon request. There are no discrepancies in bookkeeping and/or record keeping to report, and Rotary Club of Hickory Sunrise Treasurer has been diligent in his or her their duties. No suggestions for improvement for the current record of bookkeeping. Thank you. If I be of further assistance, Jenny Lackey, accountant.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thanks to Dan and Tracy laid the groundwork for that prior to my getting it, by the way. I want to make sure that's noted. $300, so it was $20 less than last year. That had been paid and the check's cleared, so.
You get to do it another year.
Worth its weight in gold.
I think Jim's gonna.
No. Thank you, Glenn.
Yes, indeed.
And the details of the report are here. Anything's free for if you want to stay and look at it or want to look at it closely.
1 minute.
We don't think we can stay. We
I know,
may have
but
somebody
I'm just
knocking
saying
on the
out
door.
the hallway or
We
ask
never
them.
know right
So
now.
anyway.
Someday the
Thank you.
science building's going to be finished and we won't have this insanity, but, okay, anything else? Tick, 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 tick.
Other things.
We think, say or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?